What the heck is a quad lock?
Watch this to find out. Whether you're in the car, on the bike, on the water, in the air, your phone is an important tool. Keep it secure with Quad Lock.
And I think that for them is where the no-no comes in, which makes no sense. Like he's
They need to suck up a bit, don't they?
He's passed his textbook anywhere in the world.
So for them, like shipping someone's just a bit that takes no skill, but just by bleeding off the brake and running in the back of someone.
Yeah.
But then actually just unwinding the lock a little bit just to give them a couple of inches on the grass to buzz them up, which takes some skill to do it properly without completely wrecking them. They don't like. Maybe it's too hard for them. They also don't like turning right, as we know. So as they have to correct the slide,
yeah,
maybe that's the problem.
Oh no! He's in the fence! The man's in the fence! They're all in the fence! Oh, unbelievable!
Sound check.
Sound check.
Oh, I'm popped. Cheers, mate.
Cheers.
What are we here for this afternoon, Barbs? What's the plan?
Well, we're going to cover off Sonoma, all things Sonoma, XFINITY and Cup, and then we're going to dive into Iowa IndyCar.
2 races for IndyCar this weekend, which is cool.
So, fair bit to tuck into.
There is, mate. XFINITY is, that was my favourite race of the weekend, but this is EP 64.
Oh my God. We're going to rack these numbers up, mate, because there's 40 NASCAR races a year, and then plus Xfinity, it's probably like 70-odd, 75.
Yeah, for sure.
Just for NASCAR.
But it was an unreal weekend of racing. So 64 is going to be jam-packed with all this juicy stuff. And then when we get into 65, then we will have the Supercars debrief. So bear with us. That one is coming this week. And if you'd like to, sub to our Patreon, because tonight we are live streaming this episode to our lovely supporters on there.
I cannot believe we've got 20,000 in there with us now. Thank you for joining, guys.
Our back pockets wish there was 20,000 people that liked us, but we do appreciate those that support us on Patreon. And it's always way more fun when there's people with us in the comment section. I live streamed across the weekend too, the supercar races. You were away, and better things to do than hang out with me. But I did live stream on our YouTube, free for everyone. So that was awesome. Thanks to everyone that joined me at the bar and chatted about supercars across the weekend. We did every session, practice, quality, race, and it made it a lot more enjoyable because, the races were, not amazing. The last race in supercars wasn't great, but and then the NASCAR, I considered live streaming this morning, but it's a bit early to live stream.
It's early.
Thanks to everyone that joined me across the weekend and is joining us tonight for this debrief of some US motorsport. Should we kick it off? I think we should start with some of the Xfinity results. So I'm guessing some people might not have seen the races. And we'll start with the Xfinity series because it is the feeder series into NASCAR. But Connor Zillisch, mate, I mean, Shane got the pole. Connor was off P2, so it was a 1-2 for JR Motorsport. But Connor got it done, which he wasn't able to do in Chicago last week. And that late safety car in Chicago probably prevented him from getting a win there. And it would have been a double then for Connor. But Shane came home second, and I feel personally that if it wasn't his teammate, he might have escorted him off the road.
He's very nice into the last corner. He went the outside and sort of rolled around the outside of him rather than just tucking on his bar and sending him up high, which you would do if it wasn't someone that was in the same stable. And also, I think Shane probably thought Connor's obviously fighting for the Xfinity Championship. Shane's just coming in doing a couple of one-off races. So probably Shane thought the better thing to do for his Chevy teammate would be to probably help him with the points rather than potentially spin him or ship him up and hurt his results, because Connor's obviously a real chance for the Xfinity Championship. So, I think there was definitely a bit of that.
Did you hear what Kyle Busch said to Shane after the driver's briefing after Chicago?
Which makes no sense because Busch is so aggressive, was so aggressive. He's a bit soft in his old age now, but he was so aggressive, and then it was just like,
what I noticed, though, on the weekend, because after that comment, I sort of thought about it, and I thought about it whilst watching the racing and the way they race each other. They are all about a bump and run. You can hit someone up the arse, push them off, spin them, do whatever you want there. You can get in their rear bar in the rear corner and unload them and get them wide. But for whatever reason, I'm guessing it's because they've grown up on ovals. You don't escort someone up the road when you're side by side. They're so used to driving in lanes that they always provide racing room on the exit, which is kind of the only motorsport category in the world that kind of does that. It's nice and lovely. It'd be good if everyone did that, but F1 is the leading car at the apex gets right away, and if you're on the outside, you make your own arrangements. But no one runs anyone off the road on the exit of the corner. I don't know if you noticed that at Sonoma, but they run side by side for 4 or 5 corners, which is great. But that's why I think Kyle Busch is saying it's a no-no here. We don't just unwind the lock, because he said to Shane, you went into turn 1 with no plan, with no. You didn't allow anything to give Connor room on the exit. Your plan was always to blow the apex and just run it wide. And I think that for them is where the no comes in, which makes no sense. Like he's
They need to sack up a bit, don't they?
he's passed his textbook anywhere in the world, and yet NASCAR, where they do the worst punts,
Well, that's what I was going to say. So,
it's unacceptable all of a
so
sudden.
for them, like shipping someone's just a bit that takes no skill, but just by bleeding off the brake and running in the back of someone.
Yeah.
But then actually just unwinding the lock a little bit just to give them a couple of inches on the grass to buzz them up, which takes some skill to do it properly without completely wrecking them. They don't like. Maybe it's too hard for them. They also don't like turning right, as we know. So as they have to correct the slide, maybe that's the problem.
Yeah, that's what's upsetting them. Also, I think that I'm excited for Connor to go to the Cup Series because he showed in the Xfinity, and I know they're very different cars, but he showed that he can take it to Shane, or at least, they're going to have real serious battles. And I thought Sonoma, Shane admitted to us that Sonoma's going to be a lot harder than it was Chicago. It's a track they've been going to since day one. But, man, he was in control of that race. I mean, I haven't seen someone drive a car that straight and smooth in a long time. It looked like it was on rails. To go and pit, jumping ahead a bit, but in the race he pitted and won a stage still. He had pace. So I'm looking forward to Connor going to Cup Series and seeing what he can do on the road courses and street courses against Shane next year, because the Xfinity Series race was pretty mega. And they were in another league of their own.
Yeah, he's already ready. Absolutely no doubt about that. And he's, in my mind, he's just as good as, I know it'd be a big call, but he's just as good as Shane. Already he's 19.
Yep.
So
Thomas Jarrett's put in our chat as well, though, that Connor at Circuit of the Americas had top 5 pace right up until he tangled with Suarez. And you're right.
And did he finish top 10 at, was it
on an oval?
Was it Pocono in the Cup?
Yeah.
I think he was 10th at Pocono, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, Connor's ready. He's amazing. As said, he's just as fast on road courses as Shane, I think. Shane's probably got more, or he does have more racing experience. So in some circumstances, Shane might be a little bit better. But as far as like raw speed, we've seen it in their race lap times and in their quali across where they've gone head to head. It's very, very close.
Race distance surprises me. Hey, like here in Australia, our support categories do a 40-minute race. You might get a 25 lap or something in. And then the step from any support category to the main series in Supercars is huge. Like you don't even really require a pit stop. Well, you don't anywhere except for the 250K race they've done at Bathurst before. But in any support category, pit stops here in Australia isn't required. So to go from 40-minute race to your first race used to be Adelaide. It's now Sydney Motorsport Park, I think, but they're 2-hour races. It's a big jump.
Yeah.
I'm surprised how the Xfinity Series, and they've done a good job promoting it, like it draws a crowd, but also the races themselves are not too dissimilar to a Cup Series race. 75 laps, I think it was on the weekend, and then the main race for the Cup Series is a 110 lapper.
Yeah.
But I think it's really cool that the kids are getting actual race miles and an opportunity to start to deal with tyre management and things like that, so that when they step up to the Cup Series, they're better prepared.
Pit stops, they're doing all the same stuff, just in a different car. I think, it is good. Over there, a lot of the main teams run Xfinity programs, where that used to be quite common in Australia with Super 2, but not so much now.
Yeah.
Like some are coming back in. But
Tickford's doing it now, but
Triple Eight are doing it, obviously.
They are too.
But, where if all the main game teams, so were using their booms and stuff that was already set up, you could do it.
Yeah.
And it would be better, but there's just not. And then you can't expect Super 2 teams to bring in pit equipment and booms to run hot pit stops and stuff like that. But that's why it is cool in America how they do it, because it is a full-blown dress rehearsal for Cup.
Yeah, yep.
Like everything's the same essentially apart from the car, really. And you might be another half an hour in the car, but it is very cool how they do it.
It would be cool. We've talked about Supercars having a controlled supplier for the guns. Really, that's all you would need now that we have the fuel churns.
If you're running battery guns,
if we could do that here in Australia.
Yep.
Because that's always a high risk thing when you bring a co-driver in that hasn't raced main game. Simple stuff like stopping on the marks, not rushing pit entry and getting pit lane speeding and things like that. Getting that routine down pat of in and out laps, attacking the pit entry, because you don't do that even in practice. You just cruise in.
Yep.
So, I just thought that was a thing I noticed across the weekend. These guys are really prepared. They're getting prepared for the step up to Cup Series. But, I think Xfinity at the moment. Austin Hill was nowhere, and I was surprised.
That surprised me because he's been quite strong last year. And Shane had the good battle at Sonoma where Shane gave him the old left, right, good night for the win, which was good.
But, I was surprised there was no competition for them, really, was there? Like, I think that Zillisch and Shane just – I don't know what the gap was in the end, but –
it was bugger all. They sort of
per lap, they were just miles faster.
Yeah, Shane was giving him the thumbs up while they were battling away. There was it was entertaining racing.
That was pretty cool. I love that. He said, "I've never driven a car without windows before, so I'm doing this all the time now."
His hands going out there, and I noticed. I actually noticed not to jump ahead, but in the Cup race, Ross did a similar thing. Chastain, Shane's teammate. It's like he almost copied him.
Yeah, right.
He passed someone late in the stage and he gave him the old thumb up out the window. So that was pretty funny. But yeah, it was a good battle. They smoked everyone else, really. You know, not that surprising. They're both amazing on road courses and they're probably in the best team as well. So I think, you know, like Austin Hill didn't run very good. He did last year.
Yeah.
Is that a car thing? I don't know. But Connor and Shane, it was definitely the Connor and Shane show, that's for sure.
Yeah, for sure. All right, now let's roll into Cup Series, mate. Qualifying, a couple of standouts for me. The first one that stands out to me, and I wouldn't be picking on the bloke if he didn't speak out, but McDowell said, what did he say about, he said at Chicago, this is just...
He was looking for the main show, which was this weekend at Sonoma. He thought he was going to absolutely smoke Shane, and I tell you what, McDowell.
Couldn't have gone worse for you, mate.
Qualified 15 champ.
Yeah.
Oh, Denny Hamlin was just behind him, and Denny Hamlin says he hates road courses. So there you go.
I think Larson as well for me. He qualified P11. I'll run through a few of the standouts. Well, we'll do the top 10 anyway. But Shane was on pole, so he's had 4 pole positions now across Xfinity and Cup just in the last 2 events. But Shane, then Chase Briscoe, William Byron, Ross Chastain, AJ Allmendinger, Ty Gibbs was 6th. Ryan Blaney was the top Penske in P7.
Yep.
Tyler Reddick P8. Alex Bowman P9, Christopher Bell P10. I'm actually a big fan of Christopher Bell, but across the last few races, really starting to find my favourites here. But for him, I think that's a bit of a struggle. I don't think he'd be stoked with 10th. But quickly going through the Penske cars, I think P7 is, I don't think they have any standout road course races. But I made a note that P7 was the top Penske, but the next best was actually Logano in P22 and Cindric in P24. They are having a bit of a rough patch with pace. IndyCar's a little bit different. They've actually got very good pace, but they're having absolutely no luck. Yeah, Logano and Cindric really did struggle here, and I was pretty surprised actually. I thought Logano would have been a lot higher than 22.
Yeah, considering the gaps are like on a road course across the 10 can be almost a second sometimes.
Yeah.
So it's not like you're splitting hairs like they are on the oval. So yeah, it's a fair way back. It is surprising. I would have thought Logano would have been higher up as well. Maybe not Cindric, but Logano for sure.
Yep.
Even Chris Buescher, like in the RFK, he's been...
Which he qualified where, sorry?
14th.
Yep.
And he beat Shane last year on a street course or a road course, I should say. So he can obviously drive the road course. So, and they've been strong. So that was a bit of a strange one for me. It's a bit of a mixed grid, to be honest. There was, like Ross was 4th. He did a good job. He's obviously been looking at Shane's data.
Well, and that surprises me a little bit because not that Ross is 4th, but that Suarez is having such a hard time. In P19 he qualified.
They would have...
And he really has been... But
they would have turned off the tap, mate. He's going.
Yeah, but someone's paying still.
Yeah, but...
Like the sponsors are still putting money in. You're not going to...
But you see it all the time in every category, mate. Like someone doesn't like you, all of a sudden the thing's just a shitbox everywhere you go. You're still paying the same money. You're still having the same sponsors on the car. But if they don't... It's all those little extra 1% of the team are like, well, this guy's going.
I always find that so hard to believe, though, because you have mechanics and everyone that, I've seen people in tears after bad races that work on the cars. Like you say that in Supercars, like back when Will Brown had a hard run at the end of his Erebus deal. A lot of people are like, they've turned the tap off his car. There's no way. We're good mates with Tom, who was engineering that car. He's like, mate, there is no fucking way I don't all of a sudden want to win a race when I'm still employed to be here next year.
I'm just saying it can happen. I'm not saying in those particular situations that you've named it's happened, but I'm saying, or that you might have experienced it, but I'm saying there's no doubt it has happened before.
Yeah, I'm sure it does. It's just it's just disappointing to think that it could happen. You know what I mean? Because there's so many people that put their blood, sweat and tears into a result, and to think there's someone, that's why I find it hard to believe. Like surely there's not just someone pulling strings without anyone being aware that we're like, we're going to make this car slow now. Hunters, I just want to take a moment to thank one of our fantastic supporters, Shaw & Partners Financial Services. Shaw & Partners are a leading national investment advice and wealth management firm. They act for and on behalf of individuals, institutions, corporates, charities, and family offices. So, if you're looking for advice or assistance with investments or strategies, look no further than Shaw & Partners Financial Services. With a 35-year history and 8 offices strategically placed all over Australia, their financial advisors are within reach and ready to provide tailored solutions and advice. For more information, follow the link in the description of this podcast. Back to the show. Another surprise for me was Carson Hocevar. I thought he was going to be quite quick this weekend. He was third in Chicago. I know there's a road course, big difference, but usually someone that can steer left and right in Chicago is going to be able to steer left and right at Sonoma, or at least be there or thereabouts, because you just said about the field spread across the top 10 can be quite big. So a driver can make a bit of a difference, I reckon, on a road course. But, yeah, I think that was disappointing. And then he got turned late in the race.
He did.
Who was that fenced him late in the race? I'm trying to think.
Berry.
Yeah.
I think Josh Berry, yeah.
That was good. Wonder if Kyle Busch would go and talk to him like he did with Shane, or if that's acceptable in NASCAR to just rear end someone. And
Well, Kyle Busch qualified 7th, so his opinion's getting less and less important, isn't it?
oh, I do wonder. Are there penalties in NASCAR?
Yeah, because they get fined for some things.
But like all you hear about is Junior Dale Earnhardt Jr. saying like in comms, oh, he's not going to be happy about that one after he's backwards in the fence. And now I'm like, well, hang on, is there an investigation? Is there like, do they do anything
for driving infringements? Unless you hook someone, there's kind of not penalties. There's penalties for like if you run someone over in the lane and other things on tech breaches. But as far as driving stands go, it's kind of unless you hook someone into the fence, they're kind of like, oh well, he'll sort him out the next round.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Like you don't really see you don't see drive-throughs or anything like that, do you? You don't see time penalties, or you see mainly monetary penalties or points penalties for either team infringements or lane infringements or tech infringements.
Yeah.
You don't get a lot of driving infringements.
There should be a lot of driving infringements when you watch the race.
Very, very different to Australia.
Now, Shane got the win.
Yes.
And we'll go through some sort of stats and talking points of that in a second, but we'll just run through the order.
Yep.
Chase Briscoe hung in there real well. And shout out Chase, because he's got an Aussie on his car as well as crew chief with James Small.
He was very fast.
So, yeah, very good effort. And he did well, actually, to stay in there from qualified second as well. And he was saying that he's not that strong on road courses typically. So for him, this was a big improvement. And he did say they put a lot of effort in prior. I think it was Truex Jr. was driving that car in the past, and he was always good on road courses. So he said he feels like he analysed what he used to do and was able to do a good job. But I think that's something they do well in NASCAR. We've seen Chicago is a place they have stepped up massively because they get access to Shane's data. They can use the sim at Chev, and they've all closed the gap. And I think that's why Will Brown had a tougher time than what Shane did when he arrived in Chicago. So I reckon these guys do a good job of analysing data from other drivers and being able to plug and play, because he was fast all day. He didn't have he acknowledged I didn't have the speed. If I got Shane off the restart, he's probably passed me back before the end of the lap anyway.
He raced him hard though. Like they rubbed a few panels in that last stage, like the last couple of restarts. I thought, it was good hard racing. And I think the other ace up his sleeve for Briscoe was they talked about on telecast, and James would have experienced it from Supercars he said he knew the tyres were going to fall off.
Yeah, right.
So I think, which we see a lot of deg in, or you see a lot of deg, especially when James was in Supercars as an engineer here. So that may have helped him too, because it looked like he was able to stay pretty strong across the race. And and he was well aware that the tyres were going to deg, where everyone else was coming up on the radio saying that they've lost rear tyres and they've got no grip and stuff. And so that may have helped Chase as well.
Yeah, right.
Because as you said, he doesn't rate himself as a road course driver, but to me, he looked pretty speedy.
Yeah, no, he looked good. And then Chase Elliott, P3, Michael McDowell come through for fourth.
The real show.
Yeah.
Michael, the real show, McDowell.
Seabell did quite well, get through to fifth. Reddick sixth. Matt loving his hairdo at the moment.
Reddick's hair looks shit house, man.
I don't know how he's getting away with that at home. Ty Gibbs seventh, William Byron eighth. Logano came through for, he qualified seventh, but finished ninth.
A few shunts in the back. There was a lot of...
Sorry, I'm thinking Blaney, but Logano did actually come through, but Blaney got beached late in the race, actually. He got fenced at turn one and got beached. But Kyle Busch come up to P10, Brad Keselowski 11th. Any standouts in there, mate? There was a lot of shit that went down, a lot of late race. So there was a late race safety car where...
It was like how many, 4 or 5 cautions with like 12 to go?
Yeah, and a lot did take tyres, which caused a bit of shit and corruption in the pack on the restarts.
I liked how they were trying to fox everyone in the lane and they were able to cross over the line and come back over. Did you notice that?
There are no infringements in NASCAR, as we've learned. You can cross the solid white line.
But that's good, because Briscoe was trying to fox people in, I think.
Yep.
And then Chase went in and got a set.
Yeah.
He was in third at the time. He went, oh, fuck it, I'll just go in. And he bombed in. And then a heap of people just piled in. So I think I like that they're allowed to do that stuff, because here, obviously, if we drove over the sideline in Australia, you'd get hung up by a string.
Yeah, you'd be in prison.
So that kind of, as a fan sitting on the couch, that is the entertainment side they do well, because you're like, oh, is he going to go in? Like they're creating the show. So yeah, that was good. But any other standouts, mate? I actually thought Reddick was going to be stronger, because he was really strong at Chicago in the back half of that race.
Yep.
He just didn't. He looked like he didn't either have the car or the tyres under him to or the setup just to make it happen. He struggled, I thought, more than he would have. I thought William Byron would have gone better, because he's pretty solid kind of everywhere. Bell got a reasonable result, but really none of them, other than Shane and Briscoe, none of them really looked like they had speed to come close to Shane.
And Chase Elliott really only got there because he was one of the guys that took tyres at the end of the race.
Yeah.
And he made a really quite a bad mistake too with running wide and giving the spot back, which was to Seabell, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it was Bell, yeah.
And, so he actually felt like had he not made a mistake, he might have had a shot to get to the rear bar of Shane. I actually don't think he would have. There's 3 to go.
Yeah, Shane still gapped. He even gapped Briscoe in that last 2 laps by a fair chunk.
Yep.
So probably no one had his measure, I don't think.
Yeah, yep.
And again, I think he might have been... He definitely wasn't 10 tenths, I don't think.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no.
He made a bit of a blue, though. He went apex hunting at one stage. Did you see that late in the race? Into turn, what would it be? Like that one where they run really wide off the back there. They turn right and they go well over the exit.
Must be 6 or something.
It's like number 6 or 7, something like that. He made a bit of he went hunting.
Yeah, right.
I nearly screen recorded and thought we could put that up and say he's gone hunting.
I'm sure we can find that. Someone's actually said that Shane made Larson look really bad at the end of that stage. But to be fair, Larson did have bad tyres. I think it was more impressive that Shane was able to, in stage 2, take a pit and then come back out and still win the stage.
Look, to be fair, if you're brutally honest, Shane probably made them all look bad from a speed point of view in Cup. There was more of a fight in Xfinity, obviously, because Connor won.
Yeah.
So
that's why I say I'm looking forward to Connor going to Cup Series, because as Shane gets better and better in these cars, I don't know that they're going to... I think the gap might get bigger on the road courses in the future, because he's only first year full-time at these tracks. They've been going to these tracks for a long time. I think the gap could get bigger, and the exciting thing is Roval's part of the playoffs. I think it's round 1 in the playoffs, isn't it? So, they're I heard his crew chief say they're actually hoping for making Final 4 in his press conference.
If he can win that, then...
Well, that puts him to the Final 8.
Yeah.
Because the top 16, I think, is Roval. Then he'd make top 8, and they're like, we don't think it'd be unachievable in points to make it to Final 4, which... Could you imagine?
Hold on to your hat.
Imagine how many people will be butthurt if he makes Final 4.
And then he wins it on an oval.
Imagine if he got...
he wins on an oval.
Oh,
and
could you imagine?
Everyone could just shut up then. But I was just thinking...
Or the others just crash out and he wins it by coming 25th.
Whew, see what happens. But I was thinking this today.
Roval's round 2. Thanks, Thomas Jarrett. There we go. That's why we have you people here.
Tell me.
Oh, actually, Ruben was in there first. Ruben Phelps.
Trayman, Roval's top 12. There we go. Beautiful. I was thinking that earlier today because Connor's... I don't know if it's been announced, but he's obviously probably going to go to Trackhouse because he's a Trackhouse driver. If I was Shane, I'd almost not want Connor as my teammate, because I would want to have an advantage on car because he's going to be so close. I think they're going to be so close on speed. I'd almost not want him as my teammate because I'd want to have hopefully
some kind of advantage.
Yeah, better car or something. So I've got a differentiator to him. So, I mean, they'll work well or whatever if that turns out to be the case. But I was thinking, I'm like, he's so close. They're so close now for speed. I wouldn't want him as my teammate.
Yeah, you need
a different
point of difference, don't you?
Yeah. Like, if you want to have a teammate, you're going to want someone that you can easily beat rather than someone that's actually going to maybe potentially snag wins off you.
Yeah. And this is where only Shane will know the answer, but if you're in a battle next year and they're both in Cup Series going for a championship, I don't know that the result would have been the same as it was in Xfinity.
I think
I do think Shane could have won that race had he needed to, or like you said, he wasn't going to jeopardise Connor's championship.
Yeah,
it would have been very different. If it was Austin Hill leading,
well, I
think it would have been a different result.
To your point, if Shane was doing the full Xfinity Series this year, he would have probably shipped him.
Yeah,
or would have been very different. He wouldn't have rolled the outside and just let him have it. He would have lent on him or something.
Well, even when he got the axle hop and rear-ended Connor, I think he, feathered out of it to just let him rejoin. I don't think, because it seems acceptable, you can't squeeze someone on exit.
You can just ram them hard.
But you can just ram them up the arse and get a pass done that way. And I think he would have done that.
That would have been right on the edge for Connor because you could see the marks from where he was axle hopping in because Shane was leaning on him. I was like, another... kilogram of pressure on that rear bar, he's probably going to send him.
He was gone.
That was a good hard battle.
And it is actually someone's John 99's put in there. Shane joined 888 and took it to Jamie. I don't think Connor will worry him at all. I do disagree. I think that I think it'd be very similar. I think both of them.
Connor's a star.
Will lift. I think when you have a fast team out in a road course, it'll make Shane lift as well because you focus on your prep a little bit more. But we still haven't seen really on a road course in a Cup Series against each other. It might not be in the same league. Who knows? But Xfinity, I think they were pretty close. At Chicago, they smoked the field. You said they were up almost a second per lap at one point.
They were, and they were both. They were. Daylight's faster than everyone, but I think.
And good point as well. Peter Goodwin's put in there that Connor is. Well, I don't say good point. I don't know. I agree. He's much better on the ovals. I think car related, but you've said that Connor is much better on ovals. I do think he's good on ovals.
Well, he's won an Xfinity race on an oval already this year.
Yeah.
He's definitely...
But we've also seen Shane out-qualify Denny Hamlin on an oval, Kyle Larson on an oval. They've all won. I think car is...
The perception is yes.
Car is very important.
The reality is probably they're not... I think they're all very similar. Depends on the gear. You got So it'll be good though. It'll be interesting. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing Connor next year in the Cup Series every weekend.
And I hope that a few more of the Cup guys can... I mean, Watkins Glen's going to be interesting. I mean, Shane nearly won it last year.
And that was in a colleague car.
Maybe it won't be interesting. God damn.
I hope it's not. I hope he just smokes him again.
Smoke him again.
Portland, I hope he fucking towels him up. He towels him in Xfinity there last year.
37 career Cup starts he's had though. Is that right? 3 wins, 3 poles and 4 top 5 finishes?
He's had...
Because that's not including his first Chicago. I thought it's 4 wins now.
Oh, in total?
Yeah, it's 4 wins in Cup Series.
Yeah, because he's had 3 this year.
Yeah. Yeah, so this year... Yeah. This year, 3 wins, 3 poles, 4 top 5 finishes. I think the impressive thing on the weekend's race at Sonoma was 97 of the 110 laps he led. 97
again. That number keeps popping up.
Oh, true.
It was the
I didn't even...
It was the 97th win for JR, which was his number, and then he led 97 laps. I reckon he's planning this.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure he's, 100%.
You don't reckon?
Not a fucking chance in heaven.
In heaven?
Not a chance in hell? I don't know. What do you say?
Yeah, it's not a chance in hell, but that's okay. We make shit up here. That's fine.
You do the dad jokes. I'll leave them to you. Can do a burnout. I think that Connor Zillisch got a little bit of work to do. I noticed he had to actually get reversed a couple of times during his burnout because he ran out of road. Like he went to do a donut and then went to do the second one and realised he didn't have space, stopped it, reversed, back, started again.
That's awkward.
But I put in there, I'm a big fan of the high fives to the mechanics.
How good was that?
And I did see Russell Ingall posted a video at Chicago. He was one of the guys, he was on the pit wall. Really? And he got a high five out of Shane. I just think it's awesome getting up that close because everyone's involved. And in that sport, the wheel changes and everything, they're risking their life in the lane and they seem like athletes having a crack. They're really contributing to the race. So I'm like, when you can high five them on the wall and make them part of that celebration.
Did you see the scuffle on the lane from RFK's crew and Gibbs's crew? There was a bit of push and shove, and I was like, they're all like ex-NFL players. Like, if that broke out, it'd be the biggest brawl ever.
Yeah, like watching a hockey fight. Those bad boys, those guys can fucking go at it too. I didn't really understand what that was about, though, because I didn't think it was too bad. Like, of all the things that go down, I think it was an
overreaction from the guy that got clipped with the wheel or whatever. Because, they were saying that Gibbs... They thought Gibbs crowded them coming into his box, but he didn't. Like, he couldn't do anything else about it. And then that crew member that ran out, he obviously just fucked up his timing.
Yeah.
Like, you've got to wait. And that's what, like, Junior said in the comms. He's like, well, unfortunately...
Normally the second car should have given more space.
Yeah, the drum was the crew running across. So that crew member, if they've got to wait because there's a car there, unfortunately, you got to do... That's just the way cookie crumbles sometimes.
But that's where he said the driver coming in would normally back off and give his crew time to split the gap.
To clear across, yeah. So, yeah, I think it was just tempers are up.
Yep.
Blood's pumping, but... Again, good entertainment.
It was. I hope you're enjoying this episode, but I do have to interrupt just quickly to thank our fantastic supporters that allow us to create the content for you. East Coast Car Rentals. If you're in the market for a rental car, think of those guys. And if you'd like a cheeky 15% discount, AHU15 is the discount code there for 15% off. If you're in the market to buy a car, not rent one, Lancaster Motor Group, we've got you covered for new or used cars. So think Lancaster Motor Group. Quadlock, fantastic supporter of our podcast as well. We use their products every single day on the pod using their desk mounts here. Also, we've used them to create the additional content like we did the Adelaide Motorsport Festival using their action camera mounts. So whether it's mounts, phone cases, they've got you covered. Quadlockcase.net. Now, the website for all of these brands that support us will be in the description of this podcast. Back to the show. Jeff Gordon was the last driver to get 3 road courses on the trot. It was in, I don't know if it was in 98 and 99 or 98 or 99, but I heard that and thought that was pretty cool. So some of these stats, because they're just drivers you grow up
Especially Gordon.
Watching. I'm like, they're
Jimmy
just
Johnson,
iconic.
Gordon. Like every time you'd go to an arcade here in Australia, there'd be the NASCAR machine and it'd be Gordon's car that you were playing and stuff. Like Daytona, that game Daytona that we always used to play was always good. And you'd always jump.
The arcade game.
Yeah. So, and there was another stat, I've forgotten it, but someone in our Patreon will know it for sure. It was like since 1960 something, another stat.
Fastest driver to fall.
Yes, that's
4
what
wins.
That's what it was. Yeah. Something like since the 60s.
Yeah.
So yeah, Shane's definitely he's definitely racking up some really cool stats that are going to be hard to beat.
Well, and I know that the problem is, I guess, with a lot of the NASCAR diehards, it's not apples for apples because they are road courses and it is different. Obviously, he's a road course specialist. That's what we all here this side of the world grow up doing. Really, outside NASCAR, we grow up doing that. Like I know that the path to NASCAR is oval dominant, so it's sort of they're records that I think will be upsetting people that he's taking off. But I think globally, I mean, I'm way more interested in NASCAR now, not just because of Shane, but I watched the race on the weekend. I think it outperformed Supercars for the show. I actually am a big fan of the stage wins. It forces strategy to be different. It's very difficult to be the fastest car and execute all day and win a race. So I think globally, throwing in some more road courses will only help that championship grow. Because at some point, you always got to be trying to grow the sport. So, yeah, I think it's very cool. I think what they're doing is good.
It's
maybe they need to cap it, though, at some point so that it still keeps its heritage.
I reckon they're going to have a tweak of the playoff rules next year, potentially, because even some of the commentators who are obviously like purists of NASCAR were like, oh, this just shows how wrong these rules are. Shane's going to be third in the...
And he's 27th in points.
And he's 27th, and they make a point of saying that in the commentary. I'm like, so it's definitely ruffling some hillbilly feathers, but I reckon they'll end up tweaking because those rules were built before someone like Shane came in, right?
Yeah.
And now they've probably got enough people making noise where, unfortunately, he'll reap the rewards from it, but then he'll be the last one to do so because I reckon they'll then tweak... They'll tweak them so like maybe a road course is worth less points or something, or there'll be something I reckon they'll do because it's just all the purists in NASCAR are just getting their knickers in a twist over it, aren't they?
It would be a shame though, I think, because to get credibility as a driver, and if you want to call yourself a race car driver, you drive...
upset people now, mate.
I always do.
I can know where you're going with this, and you are going to upset. There'll be someone's going to post a video talking about you saying that they're not real drivers.
Wasn't the old story though? It was created on like bootleg and alcohol or something though.
Moonshine, mate.
Moonshine. So I'm sure they had to turn right when they're trying to get away from someone.
Yeah,
surely
I would have thought that they didn't always have to drop the moonshine off and turn left
on the infield somewhere
on a dome. But yeah,
so the idea is traditionally, a race car driver is just the fastest from point A to point B, and the course could look very different, whether it's fucking rally, tarmac, oval, left-hand, right-hand, street circuit, road course. So I reckon a lot of these guys will be going, I'm a race car driver, but it would almost be coming with a caveat now. Oh, I'm a great race car driver, but we only turn left. You know what I mean? And that's a shame. And I think they're showing that. Like they showed to Will Brown, they're very fucking good because Will was 19th in quali. Yeah. So that's where I'm saying I shouldn't upset anyone because I'm like acknowledging our past champion just qualified 19th against these guys. Shane's clearly at a high level. But I reckon it's good for their championship because it gives them all credibility. And like Will going there and running 19th, Shane might be making him look average right now, but I really rate Will and that showed me, I thought, fuck, okay.
Yeah, just make
these guys have lifted.
Yeah, makes you appreciate that Shane is just on another level.
Yeah.
When it comes to that. And for people that don't know Shane, they just think he's he works super hard at it. He's not just naturally gifted where he can just draw, he actually works really hard at it. So it's no fluke that he's doing well. Yep. And that's why I know that he'll make it on the ovals when they give him the right car because you know how methodically he is and he puts a lot of effort.
Well, some of them are already talking about his race IQ.
Yeah.
That doesn't just exist on road courses. That's just when you're in a car. Yeah. Regardless of where you are.
Well, when he's doing anything, even when you have a conversation with him.
Yeah.
He can think about 3 things at once.
I'm impressed with James Small. Mm-hmm. I really love as an Aussie, it's really cool to see him doing what he's doing with Chase Briscoe this year. And I would like to know how much he's working with Chase on the road courses as well, given his background here in Australia in supercars. What he's done with all the drivers here, because engineers often end up becoming great driver coaches. And it would be cool if we get to the States later in the year to actually sit down with him and just ask, like, you know, we've seen the difference in Chase this year. And with Martin Truex always being a good road courser, how involved are you with the guys on the sim, not just in car setup, but actually as an ex-driver racer, ex-driver engineer?
And an ex-driver himself. And
I mean driver engineer, that's what I mean. You know, how much do you contribute?
Yeah. No, I reckon it'd be good to ask him. I would imagine he's got a fair bit to do with it, which is sort of what I was alluding to earlier, I reckon. Cause he's, sort of able to pull from his experience from, both sides of the fence.
Yep.
And also having that understanding of if you've driven, that's where they make the best engineers sometimes, if they've got the ability to be a good engineer and they've come from a driver's life, because they understand if you say, it just feels like this, they can then go back into their memory and go, I know exactly what he's talking about and I know exactly what's going to fix it.
Like when you talk about as a driver, when you clear the brake and you feel the front just give up, and when you explain to an engineer, that might be difficult, like you say, if they haven't actually felt that themselves.
Yep.
To understand the difference between understeer on brake or understeer when you clear the brake or understeer on cracked throttle, knowing where that is, makes a massive difference. So, if you've got a guy that actually has been in that situation, it'd be good to, hopefully we can, he's someone I've just thought the last couple of weeks, I'd love to actually sit down with him and have a chat and just find out, a bit more about the crew chief role, the difference even between a race engineer in Australia and a crew chief, what that looks like, and then how he's worked with the drivers, given that their background is so unique and now they're starting to have more road courses. Will we see an engineer like him, a crew chief, play more of a pivotal role than other crew chiefs in the lane? Will he help his driver outperform other drivers that have a similar background?
Sean P's just put in our comments, can Shane get small as a crew chief? Imagine those two together.
Yeah.
Because they could talk, they obviously all talk English, but I'm saying the same language it would probably be...
I don't know that Shane would get the same benefit out of James, though, as a Briscoe would.
No, I agree, but I think both of them together, because they would understand each other really well coming from the same... because the language can be different over there. I mean, James has been there long enough now, he would have fully adopted the American terminology anyway, but that would be interesting.
It would be. I think I made some notes from Trackhouse, which was really the press conference they did with his crew chief, and I was pretty impressed with that guy. And I even thought today, I was like, it'd be really cool if in Supercars back here, I always reference Supercars because I think you're always trying to learn something from every sport. They did a great press conference with his crew chief. And I think it'd be cool to sit down and debrief with like Martin Short after Brock Feeney just won on the weekend, or sit down with Andrew Edwards and actually get him to talk about some of the qualifying struggles they're having at the moment, or how do they get the race pace they're getting but not the one lap speed. Because, the crew chief and race engineer they're as important to the outcome as the mechanics and drivers, and you only ever get to hear from the driver or a team owner. And the team owners really, there's very few of them today that are actually ex-racers and understand how to actually go and win a race on track as opposed to like the business aspect.
I'd go as far to say that the engineer is probably almost the most important piece, because a driver can't drive a shit box.
Yeah, we see
to
that
the front. So I would almost
remembered who forgot, isn't it?
I would almost put the engineer as more important than a good driver.
Yeah, yep. He did mention, and his name's Stephen Doran. I don't know how to say his last name, but Stephen is Shane's crew chief, who does seem pretty impressive. But he was saying they started preparing for the second round of the playoffs after Mexico. The moment they were in, they started preparing for Roval.
Yeah.
So that's good to hear. And he did say the round of 4 is not out of question. So that's a big call. And that would be very cool to see. I now want to just see others get more butthurt by him. The fact they were calling out that he's P27 in points and he's going to be third, like you make a good point. They're just referencing that to belittle, in a way, the achievements a little bit.
And make themselves feel better or whatever. But I did know straight away on socials there was people blowing up Deluxe and I looked at a couple of their profiles and it takes every bit of me every now and again not to fire back at. Luckily I didn't. But I'm just like, some of these people are obviously as dumb as they look. Because some of the shit that you see is just like, what in the world? Like Shane's won races in every category he's competed in, like World GT, Supercar, like everything he's touched.
Yep.
And they're just trying to underplay him like he's just a one-trick pony.
Yeah, and at the moment this podcast obviously sounds like we're talking about Shane a lot, but I'm sure that coming up to the next couple of events it will change and we'll be talking about someone else because they do return to Dover next. So, hopefully Shane, we do keep talking about you for
They say Shane's not going to go
for the right
anywhere.
reasons. No, but I'm saying, things change, and this is where we're going to see the next podcast we do about NASCAR could be different. Will Shane be the who forgot next week or the who remembered? But
There's every chance.
July 20, they head to Dover. July 27, Indianapolis. This is what we love about motorsport, about NASCAR at the moment too, racing every week. July 27, Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Then August, they roll into Iowa on the first weekend in August. Then Watkins Glen. Finally back to a road course there. I'm looking forward to some of the ovals because now we've spent a few events, like for me personally, really following it closely, watching every session and Xfinity as well. I'm looking forward to getting back to the ovals and seeing, with a bit more of an understanding of it all, who performs and how the races unfold. But then, of course, Watkins is one of the most iconic tracks, I think, of, especially some of the highlights we've seen in NASCAR around Watkins. So I look forward to that coming back. That's August 10. And then they go back to Richmond Raceway, which is the Cookout 400. That's actually the week after the Gold Coast, the Queensland Raceway Supercar event. So that was the one we were hopefully going to try and make. Would have to be a very quick trip because I'm in Queensland on the Thursday and they're on track Saturday. So that's, August. And then they go to Daytona. That's the last one I've got in here before they roll into the playoffs, round of 16. But, Daytona is the week after Richmond.
It is.
In-season challenge, mate.
Let's talk about that, eh?
Let's do it, mate.
I'll sound check this bad boy first. Sound check. What do you want, Gingy?
Yeah, please, thanks.
Sound check.
Sound check.
All right, in-season challenge. So, Sonoma, the head-to-heads were, if you didn't watch, Alex Bowman versus Ty Dillon.
Ruben Phelps said that Alex Bowman passed Ty Dillon in the last corner.
He did. He got into his rear bar to make it happen. I was going to get there.
Oh, sorry. Ruben stole your thunder.
Bloody hell, Ruben, wait your turn. So we had Alex Bowman, Ty Dillon, John Hunter Nemechek versus Eric Jones, Ryan Preece versus Tyler Reddick, and Ty Gibbs versus Zane Smith. We had Ty Dillon beat Alex Bowman, and as Ruben's putting our comments there, it was the last corner. Got into his rear bar, put him up high, got it done. So for $1 million, it made the show there. Like that was 100%.
Oh, you'd be so upset, wouldn't you? Oh. Shane did that to me once for $20 in Sydney. $20.
Doesn't surprise me as a
It was the last time I bet him. Sydney Motorsport Park, we were on the grid together. We qualified next to each other. He said, should we put $20 on the first lap? It used to be who would, imagine if it was for $1 million. Probably wouldn't have walked away from the accident.
It'd be barrel rolling, people.
But yeah, Sydney Motorsport Park, we put $20 on it. And it was to see who would lead the end of the first lap. And Shane, I got him off the line.
Shane would have won that for sure.
I got him off the line. Well, actually, I just won the $50 bet at Winton. I did cheat, though. That was the one he said on our podcast, remember? Yeah. But Sydney Motorsport Park, I got him off the line. And then down into turn 2, he's gone up on the grass and doored me so fucking hard. Then he's come out of turn 3, fist pumping, and then a yellow come out. It was a safety car.
Yeah, so
we were sharing a pit boom, and I had to double stack behind him. So not only did I lose $20, which I then had to double stack as well, and I don't think I would have if the $20 wasn't on the line. I don't reckon he would have fenced me for it.
No, he wouldn't.
So that's how much of a tight ass he is, if you're wondering. But imagine, if we had $1 million on the line, holy smokes.
John Nemechek versus Eric Jones. That was Nemechek, won that one. Ryan Preece versus Tyler Reddick. Reddick won that. And Gibbs versus Zane Smith. Gibbs won that. So rolling in, we have Ty Dillon versus Nemechek, and then we have Reddick versus Gibbs. What are your thoughts on that, Scotty, for the next round in Dover?
I think the Reddick and Gibbs one's going to be very close.
That's going to be tough.
Yeah, I think that's going to be...
I'm going to say with the role that Gibbs is on lately, I'm going to say Gibbs. I'm normally a big Reddick guy, but I reckon...
I'm going to go Reddick. I'm going to go Reddick then, just to be different.
Yeah, that's cool.
I'll go Reddick.
What do you reckon about Ty Dillon and Nemechek?
It's another pretty... I mean, of course it's going to come down to...
For me, it's who doesn't get caught up in a wreck with these two. I reckon Ty Dillon's going to win the whole thing, though. I've just got a feeling.
Really?
I heard it on one of the American pods. I'm like, they're probably right. Like it'll be all arse, no class, but he'll win $1 million. I can see it.
So Ty Dillon will have come from 32nd
Yep.
in points to win this, you reckon? And he really won the first round by luck.
Yeah, that massive wreck.
So you reckon, it would be hilarious. I'd love to see his post-race speech because he always does something funny after the race.
I actually quite like him, but I can see it happening. I think, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
It'd be a good story too, wouldn't it? 30-second.
It would be, yeah. I mean, and that's what it's about. That's where NASCAR is cool. It's so unpredictable, but I'm going to go Nemechek to be different again. So I've got Reddick over Gibbs and Nemechek over Dylan.
Cool. I've got Dylan and Gibbs. So we'll
I think you might be right. God damn, you got him first. I need to call him out first.
we'll see what happens there. But yeah, I was pretty happy because I got them all right from the weekend. Because in our show,
I'll have to check before you just go.
Double check, mate. I know who I picked, so I'm sure our fans will back us up on that.
That is wild. 32nd, if he wins $1 million from 32nd, which was the last qualifier for this in-season.
So that was Sonoma. Good textbook NASCAR racing from both series over the weekend. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Well done, Shane. What on Motorsport fans?
My takeaway is still the stages. I actually like them. I know that like NASCAR seem to throw a caution for entertainment, you know, to keep the show interesting, but sometimes you have to, right? And you need things that force someone onto an alternate strategy. You want to make it hard for we've got qualifying in motorsport, which is, you know, always puts the fastest car at the front, slowest one at the back. So, you know, you're always guaranteeing a boring race off there. So sometimes you need to interfere with it. I reckon that's what my takeaway is, that NASCAR do a good job with interfering with the show at the right times at the moment.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm looking forward to seeing when they go back to the ovals, just how that plays out again now that we've been watching a few races and really, I mean, you always have, but I've been watching it now a lot closer. So I'm curious because I think there's a lot we could do out here to spice things up a little bit, because we're looking at, you know, Brock's doing a good job. It's up to everyone else in Supercars to do a better job, not complain about the guy winning. But, you know, our point system's been changed to try and, you know, put our hands in and manipulate the outcome.
Yeah.
I think our races, we could probably do the same, because I don't want to say the race on the weekend were boring, but
They were boring.
they were exciting in NASCAR.
IndyCar, mate, talk us through it.
First Chev win for the year in race one. So there's two races at Iowa, which was cool. I'm a big fan of one race weekends, but I like that it was the two across the weekend at Iowa. And there was the first Chev win which was short-lived, because Honda came back for the W on Sunday and a 1-2 in fact. But yeah, it was good to see. It was actually Pato O'Ward who got the win on Saturday's first race. But qualifying, Newgarden and Connor Daly were P1 and P2.
Yeah.
And, you know, I talk up Connor a bit. I've actually started to enjoy he's a very aggressive racer. Like on the ovals and the short tracks in particular, he's fucking
He was having a go. I was watching today going, he wasn't scared to throw it in there.
Yeah, so I think he's exciting to watch. Struggled a little bit in the races, but Palou came home with the win after he qualified fourth. Newgarden, though, I made a note of, in this race, he led 232 laps of a possible 275.
He was hauling ass, wasn't
Pato only led 33. But after the Sunday race 2, Newgarden was fuming because he lost Sunday's race as well. After leading some of it, he didn't lead as much on Sunday. Palau definitely led more. But on Sunday, he did a post-race interview, and he actually was asked, like, what do you do differently from here? He said, nothing. We don't do anything different. Like, we all performed, executed. But I actually made a note that, like, for instance, the first race he lost because they fumbled the left front tyre, cost him the lead, never got it back. Pato went on to win the race. He come in leading, come out second. That might be something you want to do differently, because they did the exact same thing on Sunday.
Yeah.
They had a slow pit stop and a slow getaway.
Yeah.
Yes, Sunday he got unlucky with a caution coming at the wrong time while leading.
Yeah.
He pitted under green while others were able to save a little bit of fuel and come in later when the yellow came out. But he still had a slow pit stop. And on Sunday he lost track position to Malukas, which he did get back, but he was slow and lost it again. But you got to look at, you know, and for me here back home again, Penright's a good example of that. Sometimes it's not just about having the fastest car. And that's where NASCAR, it's, you know, talk about how hard it is to execute these races. Just being the fastest doesn't guarantee you win on Sunday.
No.
You've got to get everything right. And throughout the day, I think Penske made some mistakes in the pit lane. For me, that 100% cost Newgarden the win on Saturday. He would have beaten Pato O'Ward.
Yep.
They had a slow pit stop and he lost the race. Was my takeaway. But the podium on Saturday's first race.
Yep.
Sorry, I've jumped.
Pato O'Ward was first. Joseph Newgarden second. Will Power third.
Did I? I know qualifications for race 1, qualifications for race 2.
Yeah, and then the next page is the race results.
That was unintentional how I put those in there. But anyway, solved that mystery. Did you just do that? I was not listening. Did you just do the top 3 for race 1?
But you go again if you like, mate.
No, I don't want to bore the people. But Scotty Mack was a standout for me. Had a crash in qualifying, but went from 27th to 4th.
Yeah.
Pretty wild. And that's where we say Penske's just had such a bad run for luck. Just they've got car speed.
Yeah, and you know what? Their bad luck continued because in race 2, Scotty got whacked out real early.
Yeah, Ferrucci.
Just lost it. He was trying to go around the outside. Can't park there, mate. Got him. Day done. Very disappointing. Did you also see there was a tornado there?
Di Francesco.
Did you also?
Sorry, I didn't mean to say that. I did see the delays with that's wild. I don't think I've ever seen a track get any session delayed by a tornado.
It looked pretty scary. I don't know if I'd be like just standing there flicking pics. I'd be like, getting the bus, let's
I
go.
know, there's sirens going off and everyone's just doing Instagram stories.
Like a cow just floats past. Like, I'm fucking out of there. Mate.
I don't know where I would go. Probably,
Yeah.
I mean, the opposite direction to the tornado probably, but yeah, he was unlucky, Scotty, though, because Di Francesco, he was right up the arse of him on lap 1 and he just lost the rear. Scotty went high and got tagged ever so slightly. Nowhere to go.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it was just unfortunate because his car speed was sensational. I mean, to come through and finish 4th on the first race was good. I was excited to see what he could do in race 2 because, you know, it looked like a track you could overtake at. And if you got lucky with the cautions, you could, you know, jump up. I mean, one of the races, Newgarden went from the front to near on last just with an unlucky caution. So the equal, you know, thing could happen if you start last. So disappointing. And then Will Power as well lost power.
Yeah.
So it's, I don't know. I read somewhere that it's their Penske's worst championship start to a season in 25 years.
It'd have to be.
And it's not through, you know, watching on the weekend, it's not through a lack of speed. They finished 2, 3, and 4 on Saturday, and I do really believe that Newgarden should have won that race on Saturday. So it would have been 1st, 3rd, 4th, and one of the cars starting last to come through there. So it's not speed that's the problem; it's executing and just a little bit of luck. You know, some things need to go your way.
And this is where, like, I sometimes get when people say you create your own luck, but then I'm also like, well, you've never had a run of bad luck, because anyone that's had a run of bad luck understands you're doing everything you can, and sometimes shit just doesn't go your way. And
Di Francesco spinning in front of you when you're in a fast car.
like, and we've had more than our share of just dumb bad luck, and it's not because we didn't put the work in, or shit just happens sometimes, and it's so it just feels like they're just, unfortunately for Penske, they're on a bit of a run of just bad luck, and it's just
And
as
I
you said, their cars are fast. Even in NASCAR, like, their cars are they might not have qualified well at Sonoma, but they are fast. Like, Blaney can always get himself back in there. Logano will always pop back up, and then they've just get caught up in wrecks, or so far shit's gone wrong.
Well, I think the thing, I guess when you talk luck, you can still bring it back to Scotty crashed in qualifying and you put yourself back there. But yeah, you know, Saturday he had things go his way. Sunday it's still bad luck someone shunts. But, you know, he did unfortunately put himself there. But Will Power losing his drive, whatever that problem was,
And
just gut-wrenching.
Did you see Andretti, mate? All their cars had a tyre failure.
All 3 front right tyre failure in race 2.
Too much camber, you think, mate? What are we diagnosing?
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, they did say on TV they don't think, I mean, there's no other issue really than setup related, because no one else seemed to have that same problem. So
actually, that's very funny, because when you went to get the dogs, I was agreeing with someone saying there's bugger all people in the stands, and then Broken Spoke's gone, probably because of the tornado bulbs. That's a fucking fair point. I wouldn't be going to the races either.
That's actually a great point.
You've got me there, mate. Well done on that. I did not think of that.
I didn't make a note of that, but I did see that, and I thought, fuck, the grandstands are empty. But I don't think a lot of people really... Fans can be quite critical of Supercars not getting a massive crowd, but I don't think many people turn up NASCAR or IndyCar races. You look at the grandstands. I mean, they change...
NASCAR gets a lot.
Not really. Like, yeah, some races.
Yeah, I'm not...
But, like, they painted the seats different colours, so it looks like people were sitting there for a reason. You know, like...
Maybe I thought they were people.
Well, that's why they fooled you. One thing I thought would be interesting is Palau. He seemed to... You know, Newgarden had amazing speed, but I'd like to know how much more he was pushing and using more fuel. And because he had to keep pitting under green. And it was, you know, and this is where... You can say we wouldn't change a thing.
Chev's not as economical, mate.
Maybe a little bit of fuel saving and running a little bit slower would have been smart, because every time he pitted under green, it was like a lap later. Even one time he was driving in the lane as a caution came out and it screwed him. But Palau managed to make it go a little bit longer, and I do wonder if he was saving fuel, and has he learnt from Dixon? Because Dixon is the master at saving fuel. So I'm just curious if Palau is just... He's getting better and better, obviously, but when you got someone like Dixon in the car, Yeah, is he? And I know that Traymon, you've put in the out front, they use more fuel. They can bump the fuel mat down if they're in the draft. Newgarden kept choosing to take the lead. So that's what I'm saying.
And
it's his own doing. Like, he was running faster laps than anyone else.
Yeah.
And kept passing them and taking the lead and putting himself in.
And yeah, his strategy may have been lead, get track position, hope for a caution to pit maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. It just seemed odd, that was all. But on Sunday, Alex Plough did lead 192 of the 275 laps. So he did lead more of the race. Newgarden led 72 as opposed to, the day before where Newgarden led 232 of them. But I also wonder as well, they're lapping cars most of the time. Is there that much of a gap, much of a difference when you're running second or third as opposed to leading and lapping cars? I just wonder, because you're not really in much cleaner air, you're still lapping cars. And he was able to follow really well. Like, Newgarden had a fast car in traffic, but you could tell Palau was just cruising. Like, it seemed like he was driving to a number.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, they finished 1-2 with Ganassi on Sunday. They're doing something right. And I don't think it's just complete luck, to say they wouldn't do anything different on Newgarden's car. I reckon you'd look back and go, shit, how do they extend their... They are extending their runs a little bit longer than us. We got unlucky with the cautions, but had we not had to pit when we did, it would have gone the other way as well. And then pit lane, obviously, they're a little bit slower.
Top 3?
Which race? I'm kidding. I know you read it out. I was just testing you. Alex
Plough.
Which one? Scott Dixon. I'm loving seeing him after, it was 22 seasons, still getting on the podium. Last weekend he won. Well, 2 weeks ago he won. This weekend he comes second in Ganassi. I think they announced it's the most wins in a season.
Yeah, okay.
Any one driver. So Ganassi with Alex gets the win again. Dixon second. Marcus Armstrong, first podium.
Kiwi 2-3. That's big for IndyCar.
Huge. Well, big for New Zealand, you mean? It's probably not that big for IndyCar itself.
But it's big for being in IndyCar because it's the most competitive category in the world almost.
Yeah, exactly. And then David Malukas, P4, who's sort of seems to be, there's a lot of talk going around whether Will Power gets another season or they just replace Will Power with Malukas. And they were having a good battle. Unfortunately,
Will got him
Power's
too.
engine shit itself, so he wasn't able to press on.
Will outdrove the shit of him, mate, but then he got no power, so he better keep his seat.
Will's way better.
Yeah.
He's come on our podcast before, so.
Correct.
And then Pato Ward, fifth. So, he had a pretty solid weekend, first and fifth. Christian Lundgaard, he's been doing really well. He's sixth. Felix Rosenquist, seventh. Robert Schwartzman actually did quite well, coming home ninth. And Callum Ilott had a big shunt in the Prema car.
So did Stingray Rob.
Stingray Rob, what a fucking name.
I'm saying that name.
You just wanted to say his name. That's what we're talking about.
When I saw him pop up, I was like, I'll get to say his name tonight.
Yeah. So, and they were losing the rear fast. Like, a lot of those guys.
Crazy.
Wasn't necessarily contact. They were just losing the rear.
Yeah, and you watch the onboard and it's just typical high aero stuff. When it snaps, it snaps. But it's pretty scary cruise. I think you're all good and all of a sudden you're just backwards in the fence.
Yeah. Yep.
Wild.
But that was pretty much it from IndyCar, mate. I think biggest thing is Ganassi's really on a roll.
Yeah.
We've got
Honda and
Alex
Ganassi,
Plough. I think he's nearly 3 races ahead of second in the championship, which is Dixon, which is just mental. 7 race wins he's had now, and he's won on every type of every type of circuit. I don't want to call it a course. Geez, I have been watching a lot of American motorsport now.
Wow.
But he's now won on, what do they call them? Like, I wrote it down here.
Super speed. Or are you talking about the terminology of their length?
Yeah.
Like miles, mile and a half?
No, sorry. I really want to find it. It's not even that much of an interesting fact.
Better be now.
It's just the...
I'm on pins and needles.
You're on pins and needles?
I'm waiting. I want to know now because I don't know what you're talking about.
Nothing really. All it is, he's won on the road course, super speedway, street course, and short track oval now. Right. So, ovals up until Indy 500 was something that did elude him a little bit. He hadn't conquered, but he's now managed to do it on every type of oval. So, which is impressive. When the Indy 500 is your first oval win, is a massive achievement. And then to just this year to have got 7 wins and a win on every type of circuit now, we are looking at someone that's pretty versatile, hey?
We are, and he's having a great season.
Ganassi's good though. Like Dixon to be,
they've always been
like they are very strong at the moment. Yeah. I also love how Chip rides his bike to the race finishes. He's just cruising around his motorbike. You see that after the races?
And just having the name Chip, you got to be a badass.
Yeah, exactly. That's it, mate.
I like it.
That's all we got for IndyCar. We're hoping that they have, particularly for us with Scotty and Will, we want to see him have a better run at the next one. Yeah, good to see Chevy get their first win. I'm sure you're happy about that as a Chev nut.
It's not the same when it's just the motor and there's no badge on the front of it. I mean, they probably do have a badge.
They have a badge on the front of it. Yeah,
You
they're
know,
still Chevy drivers, mate.
it's still open wheeler.
I think that's going to be the issue with Scotty Mack. A few people have said they'd love to see him do a road course. I think he really wants to do the double, do Daytona, do Coke 600 and the Indy 500.
Penske's Ford in the...
Exactly. They're Ford in NASCAR and he's Chev. So Chev, it's still a thing. Like they're still loyal to their brands.
I reckon
Probably more so than him.
Trackhouse would run a car for him, surely. He drove the Trackhouse Corvette in the Daytona.
You'd probably want to be in a Penske car at Daytona, wouldn't you? They are always a jet there. That's probably why he wants to do the double, because you're rolling around in a Penske car.
Yeah, I'll throw a Ford in his bloody, throw an Escort engine in his IndyCar.
Well, there we go. That's it. Thanks for joining us for our podcast from all the US motorsport took place on the weekend. End this here, mate, and we'll roll into the next one.
Sounds good.